of Music Merchants will present a Best Communities for Music Education Award to Pottsgrove School District. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Good evening. On behalf, I usually do this at a podium. This is different. I like this. Dr. Finnerty, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity, but this is all about the Pottsgrove School District. I come to you as an education representative from Zeswitz Music, and you were very appropriate with your pronunciation. It's an old German, Dutch gentleman. Started the company 97 years ago. I haven't been with the company that long, but I come to you also as a member of the NAM Foundation. I've had the opportunity to work with the Pottsgrove School District personally for 32 years. Although some of the faces have changed over time as people retire or move on to other places, the people that replace them or with us now are fantastic teachers. And the NAM Foundation, 21 years ago, developed this particular program where school districts could apply for this particular accolade. It's a rather lengthy application. I know Mrs. Hyde will tell you that it's 32 pages of pure love and joy. But it goes into things that really talk about what rehearsal spaces do you provide? Is there enough staffing for the students? Is there administrative support, top to bottom? And this application over the last 21 years has grown in popularity. It's not a sign up, fill out the application and you get it. This year, nearly 6,000 schools applied for this particular accolade. I'm proud to say that Pottsgrove School District was one of the 612 that received this accolade. And again, it's the dedication of the teachers. I see it week in and week out, year after year, the hours, and this isn't just band or orchestra, this is chorus. This is the general music folks as well. Because we know if they don't start and have a pleasant experience in that general kindergarten class, they're never going to get to a musical instrument or a choral opportunity. So again, this accolade is not to be taken lightly. It was presented back in April, but due to certain circumstances, we were unable to present it here. I'm very, very excited for the district. I'm excited to continue to work with the district and the wonderful teachers and administration that you have here. So I do have a little placard here that says, "We congratulate you, Pottsgrove School District, for outstanding support of music education, enriching the lives of children and advancing student achievement," because we know music makes you smarter. So on behalf of Zeswitz Music and the NAM Foundation, congratulations, Pottsgrove School District.
I believe our entire music department is in attendance. Please, if you would mind, if I could beg the board's pardon, I'd love to have you come up, present this, and pose for a brief picture.
That would be outstanding. Thank you very much.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Let's get the stars of the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. Put that in the middle.
While they're doing the picture, I'm going to announce their names. We have Amy McMahon, General Music, Ringin' Rocks, and West. Heather Hogden, if I mispronounce, I apologize. Hogden, General Music and Chorus, lower. Kristen Hyde, Band and Orchestra, lower. Ben Hayes, Middle School Band. Allison Trout, Middle School General Music and Chorus. Will Eichhorn, Middle School and High School Orchestra. Sarah Fritz Schaefer, High School Choral Director.
we are hopefully will grow year to year, and that would include all 3 townships to share with the community. Lily and I support this idea and will begin meeting with Mr. DeRenzo and Mr. Ansbach next week to begin planning and sharing our ideas with them. Our primary objective will be to relay information to all students in each of the other buildings and hopefully get them excited for what we have planned and what we have to come and to get them involved. Thank you.
I want to thank you, Matt, and also Lily, who's not able to make it tonight. So not only are you taking a leadership role here in representing your fellow students to the board, also looking for your leadership on this very important district goal. We're very excited about service projects and committing to our community. So thank you, sir. Item number 6, approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes. That would be 6-1 through 6-3.
I have a motion and a second to combine all of the approval of minutes, 6-1 through 6-3. Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of minutes done.
Item 7, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Grimm for the receiving of accounts for audit.
I move that we accept the high school, middle school, and cafeteria accounts as presented.
We have a motion to approve the accounts for audit. Do we have any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval given.
I move that we approve the payment of invoices in the amount of $8,400,549.17 for September 2021 as presented.
We have approval for the paying of our bills, monthly bills. Why would we even approve that? Do we have any questions? Seeing no questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved to pay the bills.
I move that we approve the treasurer's report for September 2021 as presented and file it for audit.
We have a motion and a second to do more treasury report. Do we have any questions? Nope. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasury report approved.
Item number 10 is the report of the superintendent. I have one item today. I'm going to read a statement from the Pennsylvania School Boards Association. Good evening. I am here tonight on behalf of the Pennsylvania School Boards Association to honor one of our school board directors for the years of dedication to Pottsgrove School District. School board service has long been a crucial part of our nation's legacy and its commitment to public education. As the first school boards association in the United States, PSBA has a rich history with more than 125 years of service. The consummate school directors are described as ethical, principled individuals with a deep desire to serve. They believe in the value of public education. Today, schools districts are expected to offer more services along with world-class instruction with limited resources. These expectations provide a tremendous challenge for school directors, who are unpaid volunteers who give their time to contribute to the schools and communities they serve. Schools' continued efforts to provide high-quality, continuous education to all students during the pandemic further highlights the key role school directors play in educating our children. For more than 35 years, PSBA has been recognizing the contributions of dedicated local school directors with long-term service. The honor roll is an association's way of thanking these individuals who exemplify leadership by giving unselfishly of their time and talents for the betterment of the public schools, serving students across this great Commonwealth. It gives me immense pleasure to recognize Ms. Patty Grimm for 12 years of service to Pottsgrove School District School Board and to present her with this recognition from PSBA.
First, congratulations, Patty. And then we're going to move on to the action items personnel.
Item 11, action items personnel. 11.1, support staff resignation.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve 11 action items personnel. That would be 11.1 through 11.10.
Can we just pull out 11:10 so that can have a little bit of discussion? Thank you.
So 11.1 through 11.9? Okay.
We have a motion to approve 11.1 to 11.9. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Under 11.6, I was really excited to see that Coach Palladino is going to be our head basketball coach. So I'd just like to welcome him back home.
Any more questions or comments? All those in favor, 11.1 to 11.9?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to 11.10.
Item 11.10, day-to-day substitute modification. Recommended action is to approve a bonus of $50 for every 5 days of service for day-to-day and building substitute teachers.
I have a motion and a second to approve 11.10. Does anybody have any comments or questions about that? No, I just thought maybe people would have a comment in regards to us increasing the amount of what it's going to cost for substitutes. If people were in favor, not in favor. Obviously, there's a list here of the different schools and what they're paying and such like that. I thought maybe someone may have a comment about that.
Pardon me, Mr. Leach. Mr. Parker, I believe, has a comment? Mr. Parker, I believe you can be heard.
I can hear you clearly, Bill, but I'm not sure that the folks in person can.
Yeah, I don't think they can hear us.
Mr. Parker, we can hear you very well now.
All right, thank you. No, thank you, Mr. Leach. And I would just say I support this. I brought this up a few years ago, looking at the substitute salaries in comparison to the other districts around us. We know I'm not very quick to vote in favor of spending increases, but this certainly has been and continues to be a real need in our district, has been affecting instruction for quite a while. And I thank Dr. Finnerty and his team for bringing this forward. I think it's certainly a need.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Is there any other comments?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I'm happy to see an increase. I would honestly vote for more. I think substitute teachers are, I would do it, let's put it that way. And I don't think they get paid nearly enough to do what they do.
Thank you, Mrs. Cussler. Anybody else? All right, with all the comments done. Does anybody have any other questions? We don't have any comments. So all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item 12, action items business. The recommended action is to approve the budget transfers as presented.
I have a motion and a second to approve the budget transfers. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Item 13, action items education.
I'd like to make a motion, action items education, to approve 13.1 to 13.3.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve all action items 13.1 to 13.3. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item 14, committee items. Item 14.1, recommended action is to accept the minutes of the Operations Facility Committee held on September 14th.
I have a motion to approve 14.1 Operations and Facilities Committee meeting. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item 14.2, Athletics Co-Curricular Community Relations Committee. Recommended action is to accept the minutes of the Athletics Co-Curricular Community Relations Committee meeting held on September 21st, 2021.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second to approve 14.2 Athletics and Co-Curricular meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Item 14.3, Curriculum Integration and Technology Committee. The recommended action is to accept the minutes of the Curriculum Integration and Technology Committee meeting held on September 21, 2021.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second for 14.3 Curriculum Integration Committee meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Item 14.4, Policy Committee. This is a report of the Policy Committee meeting held on September 28th, 2021.
Okay, so we had 12 policies that we attempted to go through, and we made it through 5. So the first one was weapons still being bad at school. Dr. Placido let us know that for this one was revisited to go through that weapons violations needed to be referred to the threat assessment team. We added verbiage to clarify that non-functioning replicas needed to be added in, and that the superintendent may make changes to the suspension and expulsion on a case-by-case revision, and that this has been moved to 30-day public review. The next one was 805.2, school security personnel. Dr. Placido let us know that the PSBA requires revision on the language of the security officers on the threat assessment team. We have 3 different sections, or 3 different groupings of within the district: school resource officers, security guards, and school police officers within the district. Now, there was a question about school administrators and school psychologists being on the threat team, and it was clarified that each building has its own threat assessment team, which includes admin, guidance counselors, and other members. This has also been moved to the 30-day public review. Policy 246 was wellness. Dr. Placido let us know that this had not been changed, but needs to be reviewed every 3 years. No revision, and the Wellness Committee needs to review it at some point once it is able to meet. So for now, it's being simply moved forward to be revisited at a later date and has a 30-day for public review. 808 is food service. As before, as with the wellness, has to be reviewed by the PS every 3 years. And no changes other than there's a section for discrimination, and that was added that no student will be discriminated based on sexual orientation or sexual identity, and that has also been moved to 30 days. Policy 006 is on meetings and has multiple changes, and we will be here for quite some time going through all the changes. So for that, if you go online, you can see all the changes. Dr. Placido has labeled them all or marked them all in red, so you can go through, see those changes, and that has been put to 30 days. After that, we started in on 903, which is for public participation in board meetings. That is where we left off, and that will be where we start up at the end of the month, as well as 6 more very dark policies, which include threat assessment, terroristic threats, hazing, bullying, cyberbullying, dating violence, and emergency preparedness and response, and safe to say something. A very fun lot. So for those, what I would recommend is if anyone has any chance, read through those online. And then if you do have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email the board, or you can email me at jimlapick@pgsd.org. Be more than happy to answer any questions. Or if I'm unable to, I will point you in the direction or find the answers out and get them to you. So that's it for the report.
Thank you, Mr. Lapick. Operating Committee.
Is this an appointment or a vote? So I need someone to make a motion to open it up to vote.
And this is for a 1, 2, 3, 1.
No, it's
meeting.
for one meeting. I mean, Dr. Finnerty asked me whether we could make a prospective appointment for, you know, the next 3-year term. And I read the Articles of Agreement, and the language is really ambiguous. It talks about making the appointment in December. So I suggested, in order to be the conservative approach, we just fill Mr. Lindgren's term, and then at reorganization, as we normally do, we would elect someone for that 3-year term.
So you need somebody to make a motion to have a vote for one person to be on the JOC
Look,
for one.
at the risk of being presumptuous,
meeting.
maybe you want to think about putting someone on for a month that you're thinking about putting on in December for 3 years.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, that's not my call, but you might want to give that some thought.
And with that said, I would like to make a motion that we approve Mr. Strunk to come over to the JOC.
Patty, it
And
has
Jay
to
was
be a
okay with
vote.
that, correct?
You can nominate Jay, but then we have to vote on it.
There's this arcane procedure. We should now, I'm sorry to make it so painful, we should now have a vote to close the nominations, then I will have a recall, a roll call.
Does the nomination need a second?
No, it does not.
Okay.
Enough does not require a second.
Okay.
That's why I say it's arcane, but we have to close the nominations.
Move
And
to
we'll go
close.
through this. This is good practice for December because we have this every year at reorg.
You're assuming we'll remember this by December.
I'll make the motion that we close nominations. If everybody's in favor?
Second.
I have a motion to
Thank you.
close the nominations. And a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I abstain since I don't want to vote for myself.
All right, so we have a vote for Jay as the only applicant.
We do that by acclamation. We could do that by acclamation.
We can do that by acclamation. By acclamation, Jay, you are now the person. Moving on to next new business. Dr. Finnerty, first you.
Thank you, sir. I have no new business.
All right. Mr. Parker, I believe you have something for new business as well.
Mr. Parker, are you there, sir? Okay. Did we lose Mr. Parker?
I'm here.
You want me to go to the next person? We'll go back to Mr. Parker. Patty, do you have anything?
I do. As you see, I'm wearing my pink out T-shirt that Al and his wife actually designed. But this weekend's football game is going to be breast cancer awareness. So I encourage everybody to come out. The Booster Club will be selling T-shirts. Unfortunately, I didn't get a new one, but they're $20, and all the proceeds will go to the Patient Care Fund in Phoenixville Hospital. And we, as a Pottsgrove School District, we actually have raised over $12,000 for the Patient Care Fund. And the money just goes to patients that need gas cards, Wawa cards, whatever helps medications that their insurance doesn't cover. And this was all started when I came down with breast cancer in 2009. So the boys soccer team, which my husband's the coach of, started a friendly soccer match, and that was in 2010. And we just kept raising more and more funds, but over the years we've been so blessed because almost every athletic team gets involved in somehow, and everybody contributing a little bit really goes to those patients. And I know because I walk through those doors every day, and just uplifts them a little bit. So I encourage everybody to pray for a cure, but I encourage everybody to support the football game this Friday. Thank you, Al.
We're going to go to Jay and then Mr. Parker, so we're going to go right that way.
I don't have any.
How about you? No comment. All right, back to Mr. Parker.
Again, Bill, I can hear those in person.
Yeah, I don't know why this keeps happening. Somebody must be muting on that side, muting me on that side.
We can hear you fine, Mr. Parker.
Here we go. All right, thank you for that. I wanted to take a moment to speak to my fellow board members, especially our two student board reps, as well as the community, and apologize. Last month or last meeting, 2 weeks ago, I believe, during public comment, I had a reaction that was unprofessional, and for that, I do apologize. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Okay, we're going over to Dr. Nippert. You're next. Jim. Ashley. Boy, we're easy today. Okay, I have two. First one. It's really hard for me because I was a little choked up earlier, and I'm probably going to get choked up now. I'm a little bit different as I sit on this board because of my care towards the community. I mean, it's the only reason I sit here anymore. And when I heard yesterday about the unfortunate, tragic issue we had with the Paez family, it really hit me because my kids went to school with them. And as long as I'm sitting here, I'm going to tell the community when we have those issues. And I know we've had other tragic issues, and I'm always going to point them out because I've always believed our community stuck up for each other. We've always talked about that. And I'm hoping that Evan or Joe, or I know you're not here, but I'm hoping one of you guys are out there on the online and will post the GoFundMe that they had. And I usually don't do this, but for them I am. They did have a GoFundMe because we're talking about a single mother of 4, Pottsgrove community, and I'm asking for others to look at that. So and if I get choked up, I apologize for that part. Second thing, though, is about next, we are going to be adding to the action minutes next meeting. We have 2 action minutes we're going to put on. 1, replacing Mr. Lindgren as obviously a member. We had up until today to accept applications. We only had 1 application, happens to be Mr. Joe Vecchio. So we will be making a motion to obviously appoint him at the next meeting. Second thing, we did have, and I'm always going to be as transparent as I can. And so today we spoke to the community about what we were going to discuss in new business about vaccinations, right? Would we need testing and such? We did discuss that, and I believe we may want to put a little bit more discussion involved in that so Dr. Finnerty has a little bit more guidance of exactly where the board wants to go. This is not a vote. This is simply what the board would like to do so we can put that on the next action item if we want to approve it or don't want to approve it. I open it up to the board.
Can't hear me again.
We can hear you, Mr. Parker.
Thank you. Just to clarify, Mr. Leach, your comments, this is in regards to staff vaccinations, not student, correct?
Not student. I don't believe we've given any direction yet on student. If someone on the board feels that that should be done, I'll open that to the board, but I don't feel that that was part of the discussion last time.
No, right. That's what I was clarifying. That what you're discussing, what we're discussing, is in regards to what was brought up last time that I think I brought up in regards to required testing of staff that haven't been vaccinated. I was just clarifying.
Yes, it was in regards to staffing that either chose, if they were unvaccinated, did not answer the question, which is absolutely within their right. They don't have to answer the question whether they're vaccinated or not, or those who were, we had three other, or just chose no answer. There was actually an answer. It was unvaccinated, it was vaccinated, it was no answer, or you just didn't fill it out. So you have no answer and you have the just didn't fill it out section. We're only discussing those three groups.
And again, as you indicated, Mr. Leach, there's no action tonight, and what would be presented, as I understand it, is the administration would work with our office. We'd present a resolution that would outline what the board wants, and even that wouldn't mandate testing. That would start the process because we'd have to deal with the two collective bargaining units in terms of what lawyers call impact bargaining. You have to then figure out the who, the what, you know, who pays and what happens if you don't respond. So that would start that process. So Dr. Finnerty and whoever he, you know, indicates would start the process and the discussions with the collective bargaining units. And we have two, I believe. We have our Teamsters who provide certain support in the buildings, and we have, of course, our Teachers Association.
That's also correct. So that's what I'm asking. Does anybody have, because I'm not the only person that's going to bring it up. Do you want them involved? Tell me what you guys want to
I mean, even though
tell
I'm thinking about, I think what we're
I
trying
mean,
to
looking to hear from the different unions that we have, the different bargaining, you know, just to hear their input. You know, we have heard it indirectly, just to, you know, hear directly from them so that there's no, you know, in the light of transparency, as you put it, you know, just to hear, so there's no question that everyone involved is looking to move forward together on this.
Is this something that the board feels, with support from our unions, that they would like to see a resolution to involve testing?
Yes.
I want to emphasize,
This is not a vote. This is not a vote. Just
to
to see if we're going to bring it up, not voting. This is not an actionable item. It would be in the next meeting. We have 2 more weeks to decide and think about what we want to do. We just want to hear more information. We just want to give direction. Is this something we want to put on after hearing all the information, getting any additional information that you want to make an actual vote in 2 weeks from now on November 4th, November 1st? Yeah, whatever our meeting is for November.
In light of what we've discussed, I think it's fair to say that, speaking as an individual board member, I think this is something we should hear from the actual bargaining representatives, to have them participate as major stakeholders.
Yes.
Okay?
Does anybody have a dissenting opinion?
No, I agree with what Chuck's saying.
All right, Doctor, do we? Oh, wait a minute, I hear somebody.
Oh, I think it's Tina.
Ms. McIntyre, can you wait till we turn you up a little higher?
Tina.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So for me, I would be a dissenting vote. If we're being mandated to mandate things and put things in place, that's pretty much the only time I'm in favor. Otherwise, I err on the other side of things. And I respect and appreciate everyone's view. It's just a personal view. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Anybody else have any comment or any dissension they want to put in?
I think we
So
have our direction.
the direction that I'm hearing is the board would like me to work with my team to prepare a presentation on what that might look like and involve our collective bargaining partners. Am I correct in hearing that? Okay.
Is there any other new business? I didn't get you, Tina, so you have anything? I'm going to guess no. All right, so we're going to open up the public comment. I have 2. Now, do I have anybody else that wanted to talk about public comment as well? Online? We'll do online after. We'll do online next. Okay, so first we're going to go with Mr. Andrew Corman. Come on up. Obviously, you know the rules. Please state your name, county, 2 minutes.
Andrew Corman, Upper Pottsgrove. Regarding the health and safety plan, and thank you, Board and Dr. Finnerty, for allowing me to speak. Regarding the health and safety plan, you all know where I stand on the masking order. There's nothing normal about this. This is the only building in all of everywhere I go that I wear this. So I just want to state some facts. I know that emotions are running high based on the events that recently happened, and my condolences, my deepest condolences to that family. So here's some data for you. In Lower Pottsgrove, since March 2020, there have been 1,044 cases and 12 people who passed. In West Pottsgrove, 347 cases, 4 people who passed. Upper Pottsgrove, 503 cases, 4 people who passed. The average age of those that passed is approximately 72 in the 3 townships that we reside in. The average age of those who tested positive is about 40 years old. A masked person is an abused person. Here's some more data for you that goes against the narrative that's being pushed. Cases in Melbourne continue to skyrocket despite some of the strictest mandates, mask-wearing rules, and enforcement in the world. You can look up the data. It's out there. Pardon me. Cases in New Zealand are rising rapidly again, despite lockdowns and superior moral fiber, which allowed them to defeat COVID last year. There's one more I want to read, if I have time. I don't know if I'm going to have time or not.
Your time is up, Mr. Corman.
Thank you, Mr. Corman.
Look for the data. It's out there.
We're going to have Mr. Dustin Datello. Obviously, state your name just for the record, obviously county, and you have 2 minutes.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Dustin Datello, Lower Pottsgrove. I got to say, man, it is absolutely shameful that you brought up a personal tragedy in the community in the beginning of the meeting for an agenda. I personally think that's shameful. Now, we're going to go with some facts, too. In Florida, new COVID-19 cases for children ages 5 to 17, the vast majority of school-age population, have decreased 79% in the month of September in the 54 Florida counties where school districts have no masking policy. For comparison, COVID-19 cases for the children ages 5 to 7 in the 13 districts that imposed illegal forced masking in schools have decreased 77%. It's virtually the same. Meanwhile, COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations continue to decline across the state of Florida despite largely maskless schools and no government vaccine mandates. At 27 new infections per 100,000 people, Florida now has the second lowest rate of COVID-19 in the entire country. I know no matter how many facts me and Andy give you guys, you're not going to budge because you're paid off. We all know that. So I'm going to move on. The NSBA, National School Board Association, penned a letter to the Biden administration. They were backed up by the AFT, the American Federation of Teachers, that called parents like me that argue COVID mandates and critical race theory are domestic terrorists. They're actually asking to dispatch the FBI. So I'm kind of curious. You guys stand with that opinion or not? I'll even stop there.
Thank you, Mr. Tatello. Do I have anybody else before I go to the virtual? Hearing none? All right. Dr. Ramage, do we have anybody on the virtual? Hearing no hands raised. If no one else has another comment, we're going to set a motion for adjournment. I have a motion and a second. Meeting adjourned.